Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Northern Illinois. I decided to change the view to show you my front yard. I've got all these great ferns and flowers coming up because I live in the woods, and so I need a lot of stuff that's shaded. So my pansies are doing great. It's a lot of fun. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist. And my goal in life is to help as many women as possible and men through these live streams, but as many women through my practice navigate the effects and the side effects of high levels of stress and technology and all the things that we should have learned that we didn't. And I use Asian medicine and I use indigenous medicine to help us really learn again how we actually work. So I've been doing a fun project the last couple weeks. I've been going through the book Opportunity by Eben Pagan. And one of the things I love about this book is that it talks about mental models. Now, most gurus, they'll give you one mental model. Hey, Kathy, a mental model is one of those great pieces of advice. But over time, we start collecting other pieces of advice and we just get completely overwhelmed and confused and we don't know what to do. I mean, I'll give a good example. If you follow the Buddhist practice, then it's all about living in the moment and being present. You know, this story about how there's this Buddhist monk and he's running away from, a lion and he falls off a cliff and he's grabbing on with one hand and, his feet are dangling off the cliff. The lion's coming and he sees a strawberry plant with a strawberry on it. And he very mindfully takes the strawberry and eats it. Cool, that's a great piece of advice. Let's live in the moment and enjoy all of the sensations, especially since we're worrying so much about things. But on the other hand, you study other cultures, and their main mental model is 7 generations. In Native American cultures, there's a lot about, when you make a choice, think 7 generations ahead when you decide. So there's a lot of thoughtfulness and mindfulness. So you sit there some days and say, well, I'm supposed to be in the moment, or am I supposed to think about 7 generations? Which is it? Now, the cool thing about having a lot of different mental models or a lot of different ways of looking at the world is you get to choose which one is right at any point in time. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. So most of us, because we've been overwhelmed and new agey and personal growth and things like that, the big focus has been on live in the moment, stop worrying about things. But the fascinating thing is we have a difficult relationship with time. We aren't taught how to understand how time works, how to measure it, what time feels like. We're kept in this in the moment reactionary state of just trying to survive, the whole fight or flight thing. We're kept in that space. And so we don't take the time anymore to really to understand what a period of 24 hours actually feels like, or a period of a week feels like, or a period of a year feels like. We don't tap into that time and get a felt sense of what that amount of time really looks like. Now, here's some ways you can put that into place. One is set, a timer for an hour. And when the hour goes off, reflect for just a moment or two what that hour felt like, what you got accomplished in that hour, and do the same thing for different periods of time, and for the year period of time, set something up where you, put down a list maybe of where you're at or what's going on, and then invest in the time at the end of the year to look back to see what you did, what that felt like, what you can really accomplish. The people who are most successful in life, in a well-rounded life, not in a higher self-actualized spiritual life, but in a well-rounded, let's, be a bigger version of ourselves, they have a good concept of time. They have an understanding of what they can actually get done and what they can't. So, it takes a lot of faith. Part of what gets in the way of us investigating time and feeling it and being in it is this unknown is really scary. I don't want to plan for a year because what if I plan for a year and I don't get anything done? What if I'm a complete failure? Hey, Jazz, good to see you. What if I screw everything up? What if everything I said I was going to do, I went towards a total different track? And that's possible. And it's those fears that keep us from, really not projecting, but making predictions. I think it's a great way to reframe it as in, I'm going to make predictions for the next year. I'm going to make predictions for the next day to see what I can get done. That doesn't lock us in. It takes us out of being a failure, out of making mistakes. And instead it says, I'm going to predict. I'm going to gamble a little bit, and say, you know what? I bet within the next 24 hours I can get X, Y, Z done. When you start changing how you're looking at the world or your relationship with time like that, everything starts to expand. When I worked with kindergartners, one of the things I had to have faith in was that what I was doing now was going to greatly and positively impact them in the future, whether they remembered me or not, whether I remembered them or not. But how I interacted with them was going to affect them 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 for the rest of their life. And it was such an honor for me. And so when I worked with them, I thought about their whole life cycle and how, if I do this, how will this affect them in a year? And it didn't paralyze me or overwhelm me. Instead, it says, you know what? I'm going to make a prediction that if I behave in this way, if I treat them in this way, then this might turn into something really great. If I plant the seed, it might turn into a flower. And that's what gardeners have in really great in common, is they have faith that what they're going to do is going to turn into something. And they don't really know what it's going to turn into, but when it does, they'll look at it and then they'll rearrange. They'll move the plants. They'll decide, you know what, I thought that would look good here, but it doesn't. So when we start getting out of strictly being in the moment and being in the present no matter what, and we start recognizing that we don't even understand how time works, we don't even understand what we can get done, you can start on the journey of predicting and experimenting with what can I get done in the course of a year or in the course of 6 months. Now, why is this important? It's important because in your life, you're going to have times that you need to know. You need to make decisions that you're not going to see the benefits for a long time coming. And if you don't have any experience with this, then you're going to end up being taken advantage of. You're going to end up not making good choices. You're going to end up not investing your time wisely because you don't really understand what you can get done in a certain amount of time, who you are, what time means to you. And so when you practice now in little experiments like, what does an hour feel like? What can I get done in an hour? What can I get done in, half a day or a week or a month? When we start Hey, there I am. I'm back. Okay, so when we start getting comfortable and familiar with the concept of time in our own life, it means that the rest of our life will go smoother. We won't be paralyzed by anxiety so much. We won't be paralyzed by the unknown and what if, and I can't make plans and I can't look ahead because what if I'm wrong? What if I don't do any of it and I'm lazy and, and I'm slow and it takes me longer than I think. So that slight shift is let's start making predictions, getting comfortable and experienced with what time actually feels like and looks like in our life. And that will mean that we'll be able to make better and better choices and actually take bigger risks in life because you got a much better feel about what it'll look like. If you feel stuck or paralyzed, it's probably because the unknown is so big. But if you start with small exercises like, what does a minute feel like? What does 5 minutes feel like? When you start doing those exercises, you get so much more comfortable with time and how it flows. And then you won't be taken by surprise. You won't be as worried. You won't be as stuck or paralyzed, and things will go a lot smoother. Okay? So here's your homework for today. Your homework is to take 3 different time periods, like a minute, 5 minutes, and an hour, and set a little timer. And let yourself do whatever you're going to do, whether it's work, whether it's take a shower, whether it's do the dishes, whether it's watch the squirrels, whatever it may be. I want you to then reflect, take a moment and reflect, what did I get done in that amount of time? What did that amount of time really feel like? And the more you do this, the better felt sense you get about time and you and how you work. You'll be able to make those choices 7 generations, in the future. You'll make so much better choices, okay? So that's your homework assignment for today. Like, share, comment. This is a great tribe of people that are coming together, and I'm so looking forward to where we're going to go. And I predict that over the next year, we're just going to keep getting more momentum and more women and men joining us and being part of this great community of positivity. Okay? So that's it for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow. All right? Bye.